Hello again, it's me, Bonsi, and I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. And this is our last episode for the year, and we're joined once again by our dear friend Tim to have fun in our celebrations in this year-end wrap-up episode. So this is going to be a two-parter, just going to be a heads up. Mostly because we ran long with our catch-up and greetings at the start. But in this episode, we're talking about our favorite movie and TV show of the year. The things we enjoyed watching on the big and small screen. Next episode, we'll talk about other of our favorite things this year. But for now, if you have any comments or just want to send out a nice, warm holiday greeting, you can tweet at us at PKNC_podcast. That's capital B, capital K, the word and, capital C_podcast. I know it's tricky. Or directly to me at cpunprod or directly to Pat at Patinator. Have a good day.
Wow, this is like instant now. Like someone just recorded. Hi.
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 Okay. How are you?
Welcome back to Between Keyboard and Chair with me, one Batman, and my co-hosts.
No, I'm not doing this.
Why did I ask them to make puns and they're like,
Hi, it's me, Punsy.
And this is Tim Batul. That's the end of it.
Choice has been taken from him today.
Today, it's Happy Holidays. Apparently, this is going to come up between December 25 and January 1.
Yes, that's true.
And here's hoping that it does. We're going to take a look back at the year, see what we've enjoyed in terms of videos in the background.
We're gonna get taken down for this, right?
Yeah,
We were
yeah,
kidding, okay.
yeah. All right, there you go. Well, no one's
Under
listening
10
to
seconds.
us.
That's true. Under 10 seconds means
Fair
we're
use.
safe. That's not how fair use is used. But it is fair now. But we are going to take a look back at stuff we enjoyed over the year. Not necessarily things that came out this year, because that's a rough ask. But we are going to talk... Because, my God, everybody else's years have been really fucking blurry.
Yeah, it's more that it's blurry than we didn't do anything.
Yeah, but do you feel like...
No, we've talked about this. I didn't do anything.
Okay, sure. That's yeah. Except for one of us.
See, he makes me not want to be a parent more and more each time I talk to him.
I don't think it's the kids' fault.
That's true.
It's the kid's fault. I love my kid, but it's the kid's fault.
It's gonna be on record.
You can get both. You can have both. And most parents would agree 9 out of 10 times, especially in divorce, it's the kid's fault.
Oh boy.
So how has your last 6 days been? I mean, coincidentally, I watched The Last Jedi last Saturday.
Hey, you know what I did last Saturday?
What?
I watched The Last Jedi last Saturday.
Oh, what about you, Twans?
I think I was there.
We didn't see you.
Oh man, that's rough. I was like right beside you guys.
The Last Jedi, we'll come up with a video, with something for that in like a few weeks, but we need to galvanize our thoughts, mostly because it is a very divisive film.
It is. I honestly thought it would be less divisive, but as the days progressed,
it just got worse.
It blows up. So, yeah. So we'll get that sorted out.
So what else did you guys do after that? I mean, it's been 6 days, but I'm sure something interesting happened.
This is where there's going to be a 30-second silence.
Well, I got to do a couple of things since then. One, I rewatched the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, every time I watch that, somebody gets cancer.
so far none from where I am. It is still a surprisingly wonderful story. If the age of the effects are more obviously showing.
Yeah, I saw a bit of it when you were here. It is older. The opening scene with Isildur does look at it. Right. He looks pasted on.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of like Hallmark made for TV.
Holy shit. That's rough,
effects.
Dude. It's like calling someone the Scott Bakula of something.
I mean, it's still okay. It doesn't take you out of the experience, but it clearly shows the age. Like, we have matured our effects to a degree that what was cutting edge 16, 17 years ago is now not as polished.
Except human rights, that's still fucked.
No, well, I think that's gotten worse over the years.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah. Wow. Speaking of human rights,
It's getting good, guys.
I've been playing Wilderness. Wildlands. Tom Clancy's Wildlands.
I was more interested in Wilderness.
Yeah, no. The
the
story is set in Bolivia, in like the big.
Is it
Bolivia?
Bolivia, yeah.
Cocaine?
I thought
Yeah.
it was a... Oh, okay.
Precisely that. It was
Where
about
did you
a drug
No,
cartel.
I thought it was a made-up place.
Bolivia is real.
No,
man.
I know.
He knows. They play soccer and he knows soccer.
Do they
Football.
qualify?
Football.
See,
Football.
Football. Yeah, it takes place in Bolivia, and it's about fighting a cartel.
Isn't it always?
It is. It's South America. I mean, there's like very few like Tom Clancy threads you can pull on that.
I know you enjoyed the game, but it's also a weird time for that discussion, considering that I think a country just legalized it in an effort to treat it as not a sickness. To treat it as a sickness rather than
a crime.
an addiction.
Yeah.
Than a crime.
I mean, yeah. So, but in this game, you get to shoot people who are making drugs, selling drugs, and I guess other things around the drug trade. I don't know. I'm not
That hooker's on drugs. Let's
an
get her.
expert.
How far in are you?
I finished 2 of the big missions because the thing is, it's supposed to be open world.
Okay.
That's the idea. It's open world shooter type game. You get to the final boss by working way through the ladder of bosses. So the entire map is divided into regions with sub bosses under heading each region, and so I've gone to I think just off the last one last night I think. So the third one. Hopefully they unlock like who's higher in the chain, and then you get to him and you beat 2 of those guys, and then you get to the boss.
Like a Matryoshka doll of crack.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. It's a Matryoshka.
Get them. Just crack the outer layer. Get inside that.
I mean, you can. There is apparently a way to kind of speed run it, where you just zoom and then just hammer on.
I love speedrunners.
they're amazing. But I'm taking the long way. I'm not
You
good.
mean the legit way, like as intended.
As
by the
intended,
game.
yeah. I'm taking the long way, though. I mean, I don't think I'll linger too much. But
just
I'll
keep going.
the regular progression of the game. I think I'm not a completionist because you can go speed run.
Is it Ubisoft?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, not a good time to be a completionist in that game.
Yes, there's a lot of things to kind of. It's surprisingly like fiddlier than I thought it'd be. The regions are big, but my favorite thing about the game is that essentially it's a nice like ad for Bolivia. Like take the drugs out. It's a beautiful place.
He does not represent our views on Bolivia.
What?
Take out the drugs, everything's great.
I mean, like it really
Like, it's
is.
pretty.
It's a beautiful like
Alright.
landscape.
Is,
like,
is the landscape representative of the actual Bolivia?
I think so. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but the Andes and Bolivia are very mountainous.
The chocolate?
No.
No, Tim mentioned chocolate earlier. Now it's in my fucking head.
No. So right, it's next to Peru and all that. So that region of South America, it's mountainous, and so there's a lot of like nice like mountain views and clear water, which I'm not sure if it's accurate in terms of scope and scale.
So I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt you.
Right, what did I get wrong?
There's nothing
no.
wrong with what you said, but the first thing that you see when you Google Wildlands Bolivia is an article from GameSpot that says Bolivia is not pleased about its depiction in Ghost Recon
I'm
Wildlands.
sure because like it's presented as like the region's like the largest cocaine producer of the world. Like holy shit!
The chefs need their crack.
I mean, I'm sure they don't take well for that kind of like Bolivia is a place for drugs thing lightly. But again, if you're just looking at the generation of like the computer graphics,
Or do you mean the landscape?
the landscape, the scenery, right?
Okay.
Like the setting is just like a really
Give
pretty
you a
place.
parachute.
Oh, you can. Like that's my favorite thing now. Like I just
Yeah.
learned that you can jump off because I bought the parachute like
Yeah.
perk. and you can try to delay and just kind of like skim the mountainside, and then hopefully you press the parachute button so you can land safe, or else you just like respawn.
Oh, you die? Yeah, that's pretty bad. Because the whole dying lets you lose the game.
Yes. No, the thing is, like, if you die, there's no consequence.
That's a weird feeling.
Yeah, there's no consequence. You just keep going. The one thing that I find strange about it is the revival system they have, and that essentially there are very few mission failure triggers.
Oh, it's like, otherwise it's just keep throwing your
Just
body
keep going. Yeah, you can just keep going. Only in main missions that when you fail, you reset.
Oh, yeah, because you have to do them right.
Yeah, but for the most part, if you mess up your approach, you're just in game mode. there's no like load.
So it's just screen, like, here you go. We're doing this now.
I guess you just messed up the stealth approach, which has happened like several times. Like my hubris with a sniper rifle has not learned its lesson.
Stealth has not historically been our forte.
Yeah,
Which apparently is how that's pronounced.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, people write about melee.
Yeah, melee.
It's not a bunch of dudes. Melee is not a bunch of dudes.
Or is it though?
It could be.
Yeah. So that was what I've been doing the past.
What have you been doing, Tim?
The past 6 days, I went to the zoo.
Really?
I did actually.
How was the zoo?
Yeah, I haven't been to the zoo.
I'm not gonna name which zoo that I went to, but it was a really bad zoo. You know,
I could guess because there's like maybe 2 zoos I know of.
yeah, but it's a really bad and sad zoo.
Does it have the M word in front of it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
No.
so maybe I'm wrong.
Right, so
Okay.
it's one of those places that you enter, you feel like you've been ripped off, and you have been, but you're with your kid, so you know.
So for her,
yeah,
it's a great experience.
and then you enter, and then you feel like you should call some international body to shut this shit
Jesus.
down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
She got to see a tiger. She liked lions.
It was alive.
It was alive. It didn't look like it would be that way for much longer.
Oh, man.
But
Help me.
Slave.
I did that.
Her favorite is a lion. That's her favorite
Her
animal.
favorite there was probably the lions. There were 2.
That would be that's wonderful. Like that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Were they gay lions?
No. One was female, one was male.
Did they roar?
There. You would have loved it. There was a snake on the loose.
Why was it?
Why was it on the loose?
Was it part of the zoo, or just there was a snake running around?
Whoever's listening who can shut this zoo down, shut it down now.
Because there was a picture-taking opportunity. So there are 2 employees, 2 staff at the zoo, basically carrying around the big snake.
Oh, it's a python type.
Maybe, I
It's a,
really don't
it's a
know.
constrictor type.
Yeah, it can't be a biter. That's gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's a big one,
Yeah, I mean it was pretty big.
it's a constrictor then.
Yeah, so
Knows thy enemy.
for $50 or you could get your picture taken with the snake.
With the sad snake.
Why don't you just walk up to them and like selfie?
And we opted not to do that.
Great,
call.
good call.
But so that was the adventure at the Rip-Off Zoo.
The sad rip-off.
Yeah.
zoo.
Snake on the loose.
How fast could it go? It's a fat constrictor.
It
Oh,
was,
snakes are pretty fast.
it was pretty bad.
Oh, jeez.
Snakes can be pretty fast. Even the big ones. I mean, relative to their weight and size, they're fairly agile creatures.
Yeah,
When they want to be.
we've decided we're not going back there again.
Yeah, that's a good call. Let's not
mean,
support something
For
that's like...
the majority of the time that my wife and kid and I were there, we were talking about how great it would be to go to Singapore to their zoos or London to their zoos.
It's not as sad there.
Yeah, so
Where
yeah.
animals seem happy, or at least content.
yeah,
Where misery does not hang as a miasma around the
And
entire location.
3 square meals a day, human zoos would be nice. And then they tell her, like, you need to breed. Then you can fake a pregnancy like a panda.
you can fuck in this zoo.
So yeah, that wasn't too great. What else?
For you, for the kid though.
Surprising. Well, sure.
Sure.
So my kid's reaching the age where she likes animals, but at
Right.
the same time she has this. I
Heart.
I don't know if it's fear or if it's anger towards loud noises.
Oh,
So
I get that.
you have really noisy birds.
Right. Oh, okay.
She didn't appreciate the really noisy birds.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, birds in a cage.
Yeah. Aside from that, yeah, it seemed like she had decent fun, I suppose.
She'll look back fondly on this memory. And the moment...
Remember when there were animals?
and the moment she goes like, I'll try to do this again as like a self, like, driven person. It's like, this is terrible.
Should be back there as a rebel.
The only other thing of note in the past 6 days is I've been background watching The Crown.
Oh, okay.
So my wife's been watching The Crown.
It's the last season of this cycle of actors, right?
I have no idea.
Cycle?
Yeah, I think the deal is
Surprise!
the queen, the one who plays the queen.
Right.
And I think Prince Charles, apparently 2 years contract.
Prince Charles is
Oh,
not alive yet.
not what's his...
Duke of Edinburgh?
Yeah, what's his name?
Edward? Is it Edward?
I don't think
I
it's
think it's
Edward.
Edward.
Edward
Whoever.
of Edinburgh? That's cruel.
Whoever is the paramour of the queen on the show.
Philip.
Philip,
Prince
there you go,
Philip.
Philip.
There we go.
Her jizz
Yeah.
stick.
That's the... I think they have the 2-year cycle, and then they get swapped out with a different actors. I think because they need to time skip.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're telling
fair enough.
a long history, right? So I think they're gonna do the switch out the actors to match the age of this storyline.
Well, fair enough. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
So that's what and because I know Claire Foy, the one who's starring in it.
I said background watching.
I saw her on like a talk show.
He has watched of it. He has not watched
No,
it.
at this point, I think he has heard of it or heard it. Like, there's no real watching going on.
Very literal.
So that's been happening.
Season 1, 2, or both, or
Right now,
do you not
my
know?
wife is on season 2. She's finishing it soon, actually.
Okay,
She might finish
so
it.
that's how you're background watching it. It's not you as the
No, my wife's watching it, and I'm
And
just
they're just
hearing
there.
it in the background.
You're just
Somebody's dancing
there.
over the TV. Yeah.
It's present.
in the area.
So that's happening. The past 6 days haven't been too interesting. I have recently wiped my iPhone. That's it. That's the story I got for you.
Brave. All right.
And it works so much better now.
That's
But there you go.
Success with the
So,
iPhone.
Pat, what have you been doing the past 6 days?
masturbating and dreaming of carbs. Because I'm still on that stupid keto diet.
It was your choice. Though.
It is, and I feel better, but
That's
I
great.
also miss rice. I also, like, before I got into diet, like, before I discovered it and decided to try it, like, I bought a loaf of bread and
Oh, I did buy
ham,
bread too.
and, like, I'm gonna make ham and cheese sandwiches, and, like, carbs are bad. But they, fuck, dude. I'm tired. I mean, if you're happy in your body, that's great. But I'm tired of looking at myself and thinking, what a fat sack of crap. And rather than improve myself mentally, I decided to improve my body. Which I guess is fair. It's the you can take.
I feel like we're not imparting the right lessons here, but
To be fair, it was never a promise of the show.
Also, I mean, sometimes I'll say something smart. Sometimes people will say something that's and somewhere near the realm of okay here. But if you need advice, I advise you. You're in a loop. To not listen to a guy online who can say anything he wants. Because you can say anything and it doesn't matter. I mean, just turn on Twitter. Like, lick the battery of social media. Get that buzz and get the dirty taste out of your mouth. And also, I've been playing Gwent. Gwent released like 100 card expansion, which was yay and boo. Because yay, some of the cards are clearer. Boo, the UI looks cartoony, which is really a taste thing. But if you know that Gwent is from The Witcher, and The Witcher is supposed to be this grim and dark place, like this deconstruction of shit, and you got a cartoony style card game, it kind of feels weird. Like there's a tonal difference. But I do understand the necessity of it because we need the casual crowd. That is exactly what drives sales to games. That is what lets stuff like this live. At the same time, though, why? I mean, not only do like they rolled back a bunch of good things. There's a card called Summoning Circle. Play the last
Something what?
Summoning Circle,
okay,
which plays a copy of a card that was played, like a silver or bronze unit that was played. When you right-clicked it before, it showed you what card that would be.
Okay.
What it would copy. Because sometimes you can get confused. There's a lot of complex stuff happening. Sometimes cards put other cards into play, and you don't know if it just counts the first one or the second one. That feature has been since removed, and I'm now like, so I guess it's a toss-up as to what I'm actually going to play.
Is there a chain in the game?
What do you mean chain? Like effects?
Yeah.
No, it's one player acts the other player.
Yeah.
It's turn-based. There's no instance.
But even for your side, is there a chain?
No, because it's only one action. The chain is in effects that lead to other effects, but they're resolved one is completely resolved before the next one happens.
Okay. So
Sometimes.
Oh no. So they're still floating effects.
There's no rule book.
That's a problem.
Why? Why must be like the computer will deal with it? I would still like to know what happens.
Yeah.
Like it would be nice. Did you know Hearthstone does not have it? People had to come together and build a wiki and like, this is what happens when you do this. Oh, isn't that neat?
I feel like that's the missing step when they did straight to digital card tabletop game.
Have a book.
Just have the rule book that the players can access.
Yeah, and it's like they can say like, oh, but it'll drive the casual crowd. But they will also understand more.
Yeah. I think all of the card games we played had a rule book.
Yes, we didn't always read it.
But
it was there.
It was there. And so when you needed to find out certain
the reference, like when does this happen?
Yeah,
I do this?
and what happens? Like there is a document to reference. Like there's a codified set of rules.
Yeah.
Not the leave it to the computer.
Yeah,
which is efficient and great, but
that's just to resolve disputes between players.
Yeah. And just to understand what the mechanic is.
To plan moves. But I mean, there's a lot to rant on it, and probably gonna put up a rant on a low effort video on the channel because it'll just be me talking over.
Have you done like one that's just with you on cam now?
Never. One, I don't have a camera. Two, I ruin it for everybody. No, because like they can imagine me as way more handsome than I actually am. And
Anything else?
And I think at least one person thinks I'm a very deep voice lady. At least.
Yeah. Let's not break that illusion.
And
That's too precious.
yeah, I know. But like, then I listen to some videos and like, yeah, sometimes. But like, there are moments.
Yeah, sometimes I'm a really deep voice girl.
I can't sexy. I'm just saying.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that's like, and see, here's the problem. Like when I'm hanging out with you guys, when I hang out with real people, and
What do you mean, you people?
real people.
Oh, okay.
You fudging fudger. Only I didn't say fudge. Is that a lot of the things I do don't make for good stories? Like what did you do? Well,
Let's be honest. Like among the three of us, we all have that problem.
That's fair, but mine worse so, I think, because like he can tell stories about kid. What did I do? I played a game and talked about it for like 5 hours because there was this bunch of new cards. Okay.
Like, what do I do, right? Like,
You teach.
Yeah, but
Hopefully
like,
you put some importance into shaping the minds of tomorrow.
No, I mean, the thing's like, that's something that very few people can relate to, though. Like, that's not interesting.
Yeah, but it's spinnable. But mine
It's spinnable. See, that's the thing, though. There has to be active spin for it. Yeah, he's done interesting stuff. Other
If we
than
think
stand
about it.
around.
Okay, that's it. And like the next, I want to say 6 months. Schedules are hard. We need to. 6 months is very generous. We need to go to that archery thing or that laser tag thing and do something.
And really socialize.
Like, no, fuck socializing. Beat the shit out of a bunch of kids. Like, I'm the bestest archer. I'm Legolas. You're shit.
I was there yesterday.
At Megaball?
Yeah, I was at Megaball yesterday. It was full, so I don't recommend us doing that anytime soon.
I thought I said like 6 months.
That's Christmas.
Yeah, so that's Christmas.
party.
That's all like teens and preteens who just realized they don't have school for the next few weeks.
Fuck.
Yep.
You know what? If I were rich enough and I were an asshole, which I mean, but
One of those two down.
50%.
Take your pick.
Aw, I can't pick one.
Oh, assholes free.
Just look the kids in the eye, buy up all the stalls in the archery range, and then get all the arrows, and then look, they're all mine. Get the fuck out of my archery range.
The thing is, like, I'll do that, but except the last part.
Oh, okay.
I won't tell them get the fuck out of my archery. But if I had the money, like, yeah,
buy.
I'll rent this place out for me today because, like, I don't want strangers around me. It's really that.
That's just anxiety.
If I can control the zone,
I got a rope, and I'm not afraid to hang myself.
like, it's not I don't like hate you kids. I just don't like you kids. It's not.
It's a whole step up.
It's a whole step up.
It's like, I hate Nazis, but I don't hate you. You're just children.
Like, I don't find you offensive. I just don't like strangers. And right now you are.
What if they introduce themselves to you?
Still a stranger, kid. They get the free arrow shot from me.
That's fair. Okay, things don't come for free, kid.
Yeah,
I had to kill for this money.
buried outside. But yes, like, I'm totally game for that. They're right in front of each other, by the way. Like,
Yeah, that's true. We're literally in front of each
So
other.
let me get this straight. We're making our New Year's resolutions now.
That's
Oh,
not
no,
a
this is a
resolution.
resolution.
That's just a do thing.
it's a list of things we could do.
And not just for discussion's sake.
Just because they seem fun. I've always wanted to try the archery range.
That's fair.
So we've tried laser tag.
Yeah, and in an archery range,
Yes, we can still hurt each other.
That's fair, but it's more difficult.
It's more difficult. It's more difficult.
Jack Bauer.
Lara Croft is. I just watched Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna Legolas the shit out of this. 3 arrows at a time.
I'm gonna slide down Robin Hood, Men in Tights, man.
Flop.
Yeah, so that's been my. I had to stop playing Hand of Fate for a while because I need to jump on the Gwent train. Mind you, I mean, I complain a lot about it because complaining is fun, but I do still enjoy the game, and arguably I enjoy it more now because of some of the changes they've made. There's a lot that's questionable.
There's a lot of good changes.
Yeah, it's just that the bad moves
Are obviously bad.
Jesus, and I'm also not gonna name names, but the way their not customer service, their community handling is
Management?
very questionable. Like,
Well.
free tip, don't call us wrong. Don't say that what we're saying is not valid. Like, pro tip, like, initially there was a problem because they were using one keyword for 2 things. Spawn. It meant either
Todd McFarlane.
off the bat, or it meant create one of a random selection of free cards from a subset of cards, or create a copy of something specific.
I think the former makes more sense.
Yeah. Either way, they made it mean both, and people said, like, we're kind of confused, will there be a new keyword? And they were like, no, you're not confused. The test says we're not confused. And I'm like, what the shit? Who cleared that reply?
But
It doesn't bother me that they're mean, it bothers me that that was not even a good say. Like, it's indefensible as a statement. Because you're telling us what we feel. The consumer. Excuse you. EA at least had some semblance of management. Before Battlefront, they should not have done AMAs.
you know what? I don't understand what happened there.
Loot boxes, bad. Super bad.
Wasn't that a concern before the AMA?
They replied poorly.
Yeah.
Oh.
They wanted to give you a sense of accomplishment and shit, which is why you had to grind for the stuff you paid for.
Oh.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's way more to it, such as loot boxes being declared gambling, which I believe is a step in the right direction, but not a good step in the right direction. Because loot boxes are bad, but they're also kind of not gambling.
I see.
It's,
I know
it's not the solution to the
I
problem.
know there was like a big hoopla.
Hullabaloo.
Yeah,
It,
hullabaloo last
it still
time.
is. I mean, especially with their MMA game, which is basically you can buy stats off loot boxes. But
Yeah,
Which
okay.
is-
We need to stop that part of... I know it's not gonna happen. Probably not anytime soon, if ever.
certainly not from begging.
Yeah. It's just...
You will have to offer them a loot box option, whether you will stop begging or not. Roll the dice on it. Yeah, that's
Don't you miss like old timey games where there are no loot boxes that
not
you can buy?
really. I like the lack of loot boxes, but newer games, man, are they more comfortable to play?
I mean, yes, of course. Like this is an experience from like I was mentioning a while ago. Neverwinter Nights 2. I tried playing it again. It's just from a control UI standpoint. Boy,
man, there was like a decade where games were in love with toolbars. Like everything was fucking buttons. Like okay, I get it, you have keyboards, like, but I don't want to reach to zero.
I think it kind of stopped when they realized they have to make the same game for the consoles.
Yes,
the limited number of buttons you can put in a game.
Yes, a design that I think was most striking when Diablo 3 came out. Because why only 4 people in a party when it used to be 8? And why only 6 skills? Oh, what a fucking coincidence! I can press 6 buttons on a controller. First Blizzard said like, no, it's not. And then later, yes, it is.
Yeah, like just man,
Like,
just say it, man.
Just say it.
Anyway, so what we're doing today is to figure out at least what we found the most interesting or the best parts of the year as a look back.
What are the standouts? What are the big memories?
Yeah,
what are the big
and
moments?
as you mentioned a while ago, it's not what was released this year, rather what was the things we enjoyed this year. So it might be a game or a show that but been released a long time ago.
Yeah.
It just kind of like settled in now.
Yeah, and the topics will be
Movies, of course.
video games,
TV,
literature, which is both comic book and book
and
form.
books, yep. And miscellanea, I guess, if you want some that doesn't fit a category there.
Yes.
So, when I go start, sir?
Let's start with movies. Not I.
Not it.
Not I. Damn it. It's me again.
All right. What's your movie of 2017 that might not be from 2017? Is it?
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah,
we can do the
yeah.
non-2017.
As long as
That's
as long as you enjoyed it this year, right?
It still got nothing. Go on.
Yeah, it's a tough one. There were a lot of good movies this year, and the one thing I kind of when I was thinking about this was
I got
most of the movies I like.
just thought of his.
Ding.
all day's been like, I got nothing.
Most of the movies I liked this year were the comic book movies, and I guess this is one of them.
Yeah, good lord! Every month there was a comic
Yeah.
book movie, and then there was JLA,
And
which is just garbage.
There were some moments
It's
where
not
I
garbage.
was thinking like, did this come out this year or last year? And I don't remember. I had to check.
Yeah, it's a fucking blur.
Yeah. So, boy, I think my favorite movie, for very weird reasons, I think Wonder Woman came out this year, right?
Yeah, Wonder Woman came out this year.
This year, right? So I think that's my pick. Not because it was flawless as a movie, but
Oh,
rather,
good lord, Kamehameha.
yeah. I mean, it's laser fights, and I hate laser fights. But I think it was, as a fan of the comics, and as a critic of the DC movie universe, this was a win for them. And I'm giving them that. And I think it gave me as a viewer like some hope that maybe this is not a bad thing.
And JLA reminded you what you were talking about.
But I think that was a necessary reminder of the things we have to fight against.
Ay, Jesus. I'm pretty sure Flash grabbed her tits in that movie. I'm pretty sure that set back at least like 10 decades, like 100 years.
So this came out before JLA, which was great. And so, like, for me, Wonder Woman, because of, I mean, I love Thor Ragnarok, but from in what it has accomplished, Wonder Woman kind of just moved it to
It did
better.
more.
It did more. It did more for the company. It did more for the fans. It did more for everyone who kind of watched it. I think, and so I'll give Wonder Woman my pick for this year's
Movie.
best movie.
All right, quick question.
Yes, sir.
Why does Wonder Woman have that accent and nobody else does?
Oh boy, I don't know, sir. I guess when you're made from clay, your vocal cords are not formed well.
2 out of 10. Tim?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Haven't seen the movie.
Fair enough.
Wonder Woman is made from clay.
No. This year, I just like to get this off my chest. This year, I've seen one movie that was made in 2017.
Released in 2017.
Sorry, released in 2017.
I think we were there.
Yeah. That would be The Last Jedi. With that said, on that similar note, my favorite movie that I watched in 2017 would be Rogue One.
That's
not so bad. I mean, it came out like December last year.
Yeah.
Like, so
that's probably my favorite movie, the one that's brought out the most emotion, satisfaction. Then again, there was also Arrival. No,
See, I haven't
Arrival
seen
was pretty
Arrival.
good.
I haven't seen Arrival.
Arrival was pretty good. That's probably the one.
Is it Arrival?
That was a 2016 movie, I think.
Yeah.
I watched it this year. That's probably... Nope, yeah, that's the one. There's not much I can say about the movie without spoiling the movie. I know it came out last year, but you should still go into it not knowing anything. Because it is an amazing piece of storytelling. And an amazing way of shooting a film and evoking and narrating that story. There isn't much else I can say.
Okay.
That.
So come in knowing that it's Lois Lane talking to aliens.
No.
No, okay.
No.
So come in knowing that it's Lois Lane. And Hawkeye, I think. Hawkeye's there, right?
No!
Hawkeye's there.
You see?
Jeremy Renner, right?
I have no idea.
You should, right?
Stop ruining the movie for me.
Hawkeye is great.
Hawkeye and Lois Lane be friends. Okay.
Yeah, that is not a lot of movies you can say that about. There are some movies where like spoilers actually spur you to watch the movie more.
Yeah.
But and that's why I kind of hate when people spoil it intentionally. Like people are doing that for The Last Jedi, and I mean,
Oh yeah, that is Lois Lane.
opinions on that aside, it was like writers have to make that moment work. Writers, directors, everybody on that, like to lead people to a fantastic moment to get emotions going, and then like I spoiled it. I ruined months and years of work because I'm a tool bag. So fuck those guys. So watch Rival, because apparently if Tim has high standards. Like, I don't know why he wants to have high standards of entertainment. I want to be entertained by as many things as possible.
Same.
Because I'm lowbrow as fuck.
Like, I mean, I'm easy to please. Which is why, like, if I'm not...
Apparently not by Last Jedi.
I mean, if I'm not...
You're not. There's a line. There's a line.
Right, if I'm not pleased by a movie, it kind of bothers me because I'm not that hard to kind of be entertained with. Like, it's not...
I enjoyed Baywatch. And
Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed
I
Baywatch.
wanted to see that.
I really did, and I didn't enjoy it just for the the babes. I found the buddy cop comedy like fun.
I found Zac Efron funny.
Yeah, it's good.
He's surprising. I mean, he is a robot made by gay scientists. Jesus God, that what?
He does have really good content.
Like if I sucked his dick, I wouldn't be that ashamed. I wouldn't be ashamed at all. I'd be a little weirded out, discovered something new about myself. But again, but we had to suck a dick. I mean, Zac Efron's dick.
I mean, he does. I think he's a better comedy actor
Than dramatic.
Yeah, I think, despite the looks.
He might be the famed handsome Joker.
He might be.
Because you've been telling, like people have been saying for years, like you can't have a handsome comedian.
Traditionally, you don't.
because
Yeah.
most of the time it's just like, why are you punching down, handsome man?
it's distracting. But like that said, Chris Hemsworth also funny.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth has such like a really good timing.
Yeah,
in
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
He was very good.
Thor Ragnarok. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the jokes in Ragnarok wouldn't have landed if he wasn't comedically aligned.
Yeah, he's got the time down. Also, good directing. But the director,
Yeah.
while I disagree with direction Thor went in, I do agree with that. When he wanted to be funny, he made it funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of his TV work.
Yeah.
So coming in, I was expecting really good stuff, and he delivered. Anyway, okay. So next category.
I haven't said my thing.
Oh, sorry. I said.
Oh, fuck you. That's what. No, and jumping out from comedy, like, my favorite is the comic book movie that isn't,
Which is
Logan.
Oh,
You know, That's one of the things in the doc that I really want to watch. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
That is like, if you're not a fan of the blockbuster stuff that comes out,
the traditional comic superhero.
This is just a story about an old guy trying to get through the day.
Yeah, the one thing special about this, he has claws and sometimes heels.
It's also sick. It's like a really rough 3 days for Wolverine. It's important, but like, it's called Logan. The same reason that the Superman TV show was called The Adventures of Lois and Clark, because it wasn't about Superman. It was about
Lois and Clark.
Yeah. And which I thought for the longest time about when I first discovered the Pioneers, I was like, is that a reference? It's very confusing. Were they gay? Because that's okay, but it's really weird for their time. And
for their time.
Hey, judgment. You
to
think
be fair,
being
like,
judgmental now is fucked up.
What surprised me, like, I didn't know that Lois was a dude's name.
Right? Because of Lois Lane.
Because, I mean, I grew up with Lois Lane as the one person character I know named Lois.
And then...
And then Lois and Clark, it's based on the Pioneers, and then like, what? That's a dude?
And what are they pioneers of, really? Not them. Clark Kent. Like, what he pioneered? The ability to fucking lie for a Pulitzer?
Well, technically... Clark
He
Kent
did.
not.
He fucking fucked. He wrote about himself and got a Pulitzer. He should be on BuzzFeed. The 10 people who definitely aren't Superman.
Not I.
Batman. Sweats. But yeah, but then that's why Logan's saying no. The thing about your daddy's Wolverine, who actually looks more like Wolverine with each movie that he plays Wolverine in.
Yeah.
He looked very scrawny in the first one. Very first X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Didn't really look like
he was I think the term now was a soft boy. He's not very ripped. It was very...
But now he's like Hugh Jackman, who beat cancer several times. Because
3 times?
Yeah, because he's also Wolverine in real life. I mean, the fact that they portrayed X-23...
That was a hard ask.
That was a hard ask for a little girl. Like, holy shit!
I mean, yeah.
They called her. They called Daphne Keane the third special effect of the movie because she's that good and she can maintain presence in front of Hugh Jackman and Sir Patrick Stewart
at the same time. That was an ask. I mean, X-23 is a hard thing to translate.
Yeah, and
from an origin standpoint, she's as complicated as they go, right?
Yeah. She's a fine mess.
And then have a kid to act well enough to not just be the character, but interact with the other well-established characters of the universe.
And, I mean, there's something she does in the movie that is a spoiler because it'll reveal a trait of hers. But she does it so well for the longest time. She just acts with her body. Like,
it's a very physical role.
Yeah, and she just does it. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, for people who think, like, anybody can act. No, it's not just pretending.
I mean, it is pretending, but it's not just pretending.
Thank you, I just said that. you dick. Runner-ups. Wonder Woman, if only because it was a necessary movie that had to be made and done well.
Yeah,
and it represented a lot.
Yeah, it's a big ask.
And I disliked a lot about what the movie did. Mostly beam fights and like
beam fights.
And why does he have a mustache? But
why does he have a mustache?
Ares.
Okay.
Oh yes, quite. The ancient Greek god looks like an old British man.
I mean, at that point, like I was like, all right, whatever, man.
Fist or third act's gonna be shit. Or at some point where a very relevant person must have thought, maybe I could get a parachute. And he doesn't. He just like, I guess it's over.
I'm okay with that. It's just the beam fights, man. Like if there's one complaint I have about the movie, it's beam fights.
Also the random shonen anime style power. She went full anime at the end.
She did. She like full on Son Goku / whatever.
No, Son Goku would not have earned the win. But Goku would not have earned the win. But yeah, and that's the follow-up. So let's move on to TV shows, and let's go in reverse order, so that's fair.
Sure.
The standout show for me right now is Victoria.
Oh, okay.
It's with Jenna Coleman.
Okay.
Where I discovered what is probably the origin of Bert and Ernie, because those were her cousins.
Really?
Yeah. Ernst and Albert. So, I don't know why not, but I mean, that's the only other Bert and Ernie I've found in, ever. But I also don't go out. I have gone pale from not going out. Which is weird. I used to be way brown. And one is, it's a really pretty show. It is, it's gorgeous. The dresses are gorgeous. It's strangely compelling for a story about royalty, which is a hard ask in a time where, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Times are tough, no matter where you look.
Especially since we don't have a history of royalty.
Yeah, and with the royalty and these people are not necessarily nice to India. I mean, this was the one that enslaved India. This was that queen. But, somehow they made it compelling. Like, yeah, I want to watch more about slave Queen Victoria. I mean, we're not there yet. They will get there, but it's combined because they present her as like the challenge. Like she had to make herself respectable in that. Sorry, to assert herself, because at the start everyone was trying to control her because she was, as they kept calling her, the little queen. Because Jenna Coleman's tiny and so is the character.
Was she just tiny, or was she also young?
She was literally tiny, apparently. Like actual Queen Victoria was
small,
little angry lady.
Was she also young when she ascended?
Yes, she was also.
So it's a combination of both youth and size,
and a manipulative mother, and supposedly, but that's how she was portrayed in the show, and a manipulative thing. And of course, that guy who always plays the bad guy in like old army movies. Yeah, you know the guy.
Army movies.
Well, there's Ed Harris. There's
no, not Ed
Alda
Harris.
doesn't do that. No, but I know
there's
who
Powers
you're talking
Booth,
about.
and there's
yeah, like who plays Lord, and very compelling. Like the cast is strikingly compelling. I rooted for cousins fucking. I mean, that's what Victoria and Albert were. Spoiler alert: read a book.
Any book?
I don't know, history maybe. But it's like, also, if you know history, not a lot of this will be surprising to you.
Okay, if you know like British history,
Yeah, and the thing is, I know enough to like I know where this is gonna go.
Yeah.
And it's so compelling because of the actors, the actresses, the way it's scripted, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Happy runner-up to to show of the year for me would be The Girlfriend Experience.
Really?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I got into it for reasons that should be obvious by now. Which is why it's not my show of the year, because it's strangely compelling, but I don't know if that's just my dick telling me it's compelling.
It's hard to figure out where the bias might be coming from.
It talks to me.
In profound ways.
Watch The Girlfriend Experience. In fact, just look at porno.
Done.
He's very baritone, this dick of mine.
Nice to know. Nice to know.
It doesn't have a name though, but you don't name it, you give it power. It has enough.
It has too much, some would say. Tim, save me.
I don't know if I can save you from that.
Very few people walk back from that.
So, this year, I probably, amongst all of the categories that we have today, I've watched the most TV. Not a lot still, but standouts. Standouts would be a lot of Netflix stuff. Like Black Mirror.
Ooh, that's it.
Although I didn't like the Netflix rendition of Black Mirror as much as I did the British one, but it was still pretty good.
Oh, is it not the same timeline? I mean,
Well,
I know it's an anthology, but I mean, is it not like same director, producer?
I don't know if it's the same director producer, but I know that the first 2 seasons and the first specials were made in Britain for, I want to say ITV, but I'm not certain.
One of the channels.
Yeah. And then Netflix bought the rights, and then they created a whole season.
That does explain the change in tone.
There's a very big change in tone.
Oh, really?
I prefer the original ones, but these ones weren't bad. Other standouts. The Orville.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the other one that we've talked about in previous episodes.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't one of the standout ones. There's one more that I'm thinking of that I can't seem to remember. But okay,
He's not a
but
robot.
the weirdest thing about
Turning into a robot.
this year was my favorite show that I've probably watched, which is very unlike me, but the favorite show that I've watched this year would probably be 13 Reasons Why.
Really?
The Suicide Show?
Yeah, and it's not a fantastic show. It's not a show that has the best acting. It's not a show that has the best story. It's not even the show that has the best plot. But for some reason, it resonated. I found that it was the best put together show, in my opinion. And maybe it's just nostalgia from, high school, being a kid, being young, thinking about things like that. But I mean, there are a lot of things to complain about with that show. But for some
the
reason,
number of suicide attempt rising correlated to it.
yeah, that's a big deal. But for some reason, I don't know. I liked it. I liked the show. I liked the show quite a bit. I'm looking forward to the next season. So, for those who don't know 13 Reasons Why, that's amazing because there's been a lot of controversy about the show. It's basically, it's not really a spoiler, but...
Well, the premise is fairly simple, right?
Yeah.
Is it based on the book?
I have not read
I think it's based on the book.
Could be.
Young adult
But
book.
it's basically, there is a girl, high school girl, who commits suicide. And...
That's not the spoiler, no.
No, that's not a spoiler. And she sends out tapes to... there are 13 sides on... So there are, how many tapes that? 7 tapes with recordings, and each side of the tape is aimed towards one person. One person which she says is one of the reasons why she committed suicide. It's basically a story about her life and what led her up to that point. It's a very dark show, you think for obvious reasons, but then you start to realize how dark it is. Not in the sense of suicide, but in the sense of how much bad things can happen to people. Right. And it's especially disturbing and about how many bad things can happen to someone so young, whether it be in the world we live in today or the world or forever. And yeah, I don't know, it got to me somehow or another.
Like real emotions and shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very heavy show.
It is. It's a heavy show.
It's a very heavy show, and yeah, like Pat and Ponzi mentioned a while ago, I'm more into things like that. I'm less into the entertain, comedy, action. I'm more into I want something with a lot of depth. And sometimes actions and comedies can have that depth, but I guess I'm drawn more towards...
That's fair. The overall tone of the show is different from what they are.
Yeah, so if it's a mature audience show, I wouldn't recommend
teens to watch it.
Well, no, you know what? It's alright, but if teens are gonna watch it, you really should talk to an adult about it. You really should, because there are some heavy things. They talk about, obviously they talk about suicide, they talk about depression, they talk about a lot of sexual assault, sexual related materials. They're not things that actually even an adult should process alone. You know, there's something that you should watch with someone else. You should talk to someone else about. I think it's also quite relevant in today's today's society. Not to sound like an activist of any side, but it's something that you should realize is there. You should talk about. And that's
your pick.
That's my pick. Yeah.
13 Reasons Why.
13 Reasons Why.
That's a surprise. I didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, anyway.
Buns, you're up.
Okay, originally, I was thinking about, like, what's the thing I enjoyed the year? And the original answer would be the one you wanted to avoid.
Discovery?
I really enjoyed Discovery. I really did. For whatever flaws it has.
And you can see the saucer flipping.
I love that gif. I really did enjoy that show, but what changed my mind ultimately was, unsurprisingly, Netflix's Punisher.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the last Netflix show, the one before that, Defenders, right, and even Iron Fist, more so, have been problematic to say the least, right?
Oh, Jesus.
And I mean, it's hard to kind of keep up the excitement for such an endeavor.
Especially when you can see moments where Danny is perfect.
Yeah.
When in the diner, he was perfect.
Right? Like, there are scenes.
And then they're like, let's make him shit again. Fuck readers. Fuck people. They paid for this already. Fuck them.
So I enjoyed Punisher because it brought back the same excitement I had when I watched Daredevil season 1.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so it operates from that high bar of, like, yeah, this is exactly how this character in this kind of setting would work. It's a real modern adaptation of a character with, like, at least 40 years of history.
Really, we need to come up with new characters.
We do, and that's I think an interesting challenge for the future, right?
Yeah.
But as far as as far as, like, the excitement of, like, this adaptation, Punisher for me was perfect because the big kind of move when you're trying to adapt Punisher is to make him completely heroic.
Yeah, they made that mistake in a bunch of movies.
Right,
How many movies was that?
At least two. At least.
Oh, Skull Cars.
He was Skull Cars. Yep. Skull Cars, John Travolta. Right, I mean, they forget to acknowledge that the Punisher is not a heroic character. He is a It's an anti-hero, but not just like an anti-hero where, like, I'm cool, wear black, kill people. It's
Wolverine.
It comes from a really dark place of trauma.
It is in no way positive.
It's trauma, but, like, what it kind of does well is to make the trauma, like, understandable. It is, some people would say, the best, like, presentation of PTSD in modern like, entertainment.
That's a big
because
title
that's essentially it, right? Like, he is they kind of give him, like, the trauma he had in the war.
Also, his family getting murdered,
and then his family. Because people forget the war part. What most adaptations of Punisher have is, like, the war part just gives him the skills,
but not
the trauma.
PTSD.
Is the family dying.
Yeah.
But here, the connection is, like, he was off since then. And it just got worse.
It just pushed him over the edge. Like,
yeah,
there you go.
The
You're
family
fucked now.
was the one that kind of pushed him over the edge. Otherwise, he'd be a vet suffering from PTSD regardless of his family being alive. So it's that drama, and it's interesting that they did like a contrast. There's another one who's kind of like the counter character who is also suffering from PTSD, except does it wrong in all levels.
You gotta have contrasts, man.
No, exactly. Like, and that was the point. Like, you know, the contrast between the two characters suffering virtually the same experience, disenfranchised and whatnot. And so it was compelling because the suspense was there, the tension was there. It is slightly slow, but I think the pace was much better than the previous.
Yeah, Netflix notoriously has shit for episodes.
Like, and even like the middle part dragging, right? This one surprisingly kept its pace well. There's always every few episodes, something new to learn or kind of push against in every few episodes. If true to, like, Daredevil fashion, like, you never see him, like, wear the suit until much later on.
Why would you just?
But you don't need it.
No, would you go to Hot Topic and, like, I'd like the skull shirt?
Exactly. I want it bedazzled. I want them to know I'm fashionable and murderous.
I ain't basic.
So like, but otherwise, like, I think it's well acted.
I mean,
it's well acted.
He didn't need to act that hard for Shane, but here's like, show me what you've got. Where's my Oscar?
It's a guy who wants to act. Like, you can see the earnestness in, like,
John Bernthal,
like, he can bring the acting, because
that fucking graveyard scene is still in my head.
The Daredevil season 2 graveyard scene,
and I'm pretty sure even like the actor for Matt was like, I'm crying.
Those were real tears.
This is sad. Why didn't you tell me his family's actually dead? He's acting.
Yeah, so I think, like, I know it's like the late entry for me, but like Punisher, I think, was the series TV show for me this year, because the rest of the TV show I enjoyed, like, are continuing series, like The Good Place,
Good Place,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like, they're fantastic, like, but they're also like from last year, right? So technically I've seen them before. That said, Good Place is still like primo.
Jesus, I've never seen a show go jump around on its fucking concept.
Yeah,
fuck this, we're doing something else.
They did. That was fun. So yeah, I think Punisher is my favorite for the year.
All right.
Yeah. I think that's the show, actually. We're here for an hour.
That was 2 topics. What the shit, you guys?
well, okay. Let's
two-parter this shit.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
We'll see you
next year.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.